I always say it's coming up with so many excuses to talk about our event and put it in front of our guests as little reminders, little shiny objects that there's something coming up and they're invited and that we'd love for them to attend. It can look like a lot of things, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here, but don't underestimate how many touch points you will need in order to get a registrant, and be tracking that. How are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question. And the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Well, hey there. Welcome to the Green Room Central podcast. I've got something special for you over the next 5 weeks. So each Monday, you're going to receive another training in my 5-part challenge, the Virtual Event Lab. It's a training program developed to help you scale your business by leveraging virtual events. And today, you're listening to part 2. Now, I will be referencing a framework that I've drawn on some note cards and some worksheets for you to complete. If you want those resources, then I want you to hop into your members area for free access. You're just going to go to greenroomcentral.com to get access. I want you to look for the button that says the Virtual Event Lab. I want you to get your notebook ready, get your pen, and let's dive in. Hey there, it's Sarah Pfeiffer, the events expert, and welcome back to training 2 of the Virtual Event Lab. Today, you're going to learn tactics that the world's most successful online business owners are using so that you can leverage those tactics and overcome your fear of sales and marketing and fill your event. First, you're going to learn how to overcome your number 1 competitor. Second, you are going to learn how to make an event marketing plan. And third, you're going to learn about strategies that are working right now in 2022 to fill your event. How does that sound? Awesome. We're working our way up the virtual event planning pyramid. So if you picture a pyramid with 5 layers, we are right here at the second layer from the bottom. Make it known. Okay? Consider this still fairly foundational to the virtual event process. And here's why. When you picture your event, what do you see? I'm guessing it's a room full of people. You want butts in seats because there is no point in creating a life-changing program if no one shows up. Don't let your brilliance go to waste or waste any time worrying about how to get people to your event. Today's lesson will help you start or scale a profitable virtual event to gain the impact and influence and business growth that you're looking for. I've got the best practices that you need to fill your event. Now, I want you to know that you are not alone. The struggle of getting butts in seats is shared across all levels of live event leaders, from beginners to pros. So know that the struggle is real and that knowing you're not alone, hopefully that knowing will allow you to set worrying about filling your event to the side. Instead, I want you to worry about acquiring the skills that you need to fill your event. How does that sound? Good news, because that's what we're going to talk about right here in training 2 of the Virtual Event Lab. But you want to know what's really cool? I have spent the last couple years obsessively studying what the world's best online coaches and trainers and entrepreneurs and consultants are doing to fill their virtual events. And I get to share them with you today. It turns out that the same strategies that work for an in-person event work for a virtual event. Strategies work regardless of how the event is delivered. That's good news. I've got a lot of tried and true and tested ideas for you today, and I'm excited to share them with you. So you're going to walk away from training 2 of the virtual event lab with answers to big questions and some big work completed. You're going to know how to overcome your number 1 competitor. You're going to know how to make an event marketing plan. And most of all, you're going to know the strategies that are working right now in 2022 to fill your event. So the training that we're going to work through together here on Module 2 on Make It Known will be the strategies that you need to overcome your fear of marketing and sales and fill your event. Fill your virtual event. I am so thrilled that you're here for training 2. That's huge. You're setting the tone for being the person who shows up for their dreams, and I love that. Let's get moving. I want you to do yourself a favor and get out your journal, turn off your distractions, close the door, download today's digital workbook page, prepare to take a lot of notes, and give yourself a high five because you're here. Grab your pen. Let's go. First step, how to overcome your number 1 competitor. Any guesses what that is? It's apathy. How do you overcome apathy as a competitor? And I'm guessing you perhaps weren't expecting this to be competition, but in the virtual event space, it is. People's attention can be everywhere, right? We have a lot of choices for where to put our attention. And after what we've all been through over the last couple of years, we've decided collectively, the community, that where we put our attention is valuable. What that puts on us as virtual event leaders is a little bit more challenge to drive home the takeaways and level up the experience that we deliver virtually. Let's first talk about that piece about driving home the takeaways. That's a huge way that you can overcome apathy. Apathy being like just not taking action and choosing to register to come to your event, or registering and then not showing up. Because it's a thing, right? You and I both know that. We've all registered for virtual events and then not shown up. So how do we overcome apathy as the leader? Driving home those takeaways is something that you can't overdo. Remember we talked about training 1, how it's so important to think through the benefit extension. It's so important to create an offer that solves a problem. And so when I'm talking about driving home the takeaways, it's a piece of that. And it needs to be in all of your event marketing, from your sales page to your social media to your emails. You can't overdo it. You just can't. So keep driving home those takeaways. What problem are you solving? And what are they going to take away from this event that's going to help them solve that? Okay. So let's move on to the second step here in our training, and that is event marketing plans. So what this means is you're going to make a plan and you're going to work the plan consistently. It's a lot like any other launch that you've had in your business. You will need a runway to get your event filled. And I don't want you to underestimate that you'll need a runway in order to fill your event. And so when I say I want you to make a plan and work the plan consistently, it really is as simple as getting out a calendar and marking out what communications you're going to put out and what dates they're going to go out. And I know you're saying, Sarah, this is so basic. But I think, remember, sometimes the simplest stuff is what trips us up. And when we discount how much of a runway we need in order to fill our event, we freak out because it's getting closer and closer to the event date and the registration numbers aren't what we expected. And so let's avoid that by giving ourselves a plan and working the plan consistently. I always say it's coming up with so many excuses to talk about our event and put it in front of our guests as little reminders, little shiny objects that there's something coming up and they're invited and that we'd love for them to attend. It can look like a lot of things. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here, but don't underestimate how many touch points you will need in order to get a registrant, and be tracking that. Like, I know you're a savvy business owner. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you weren't. You wouldn't already be wildly successful in business. Think about what's worked in the past with launching offers and what kind of runway you've needed there, and start with that, and then just measure it. And each event you'll get a little bit better and a little bit better at knowing what it takes to get it filled in the time frame that you have. Okay? So now I want to move on to number 3. I want to talk about strategies that are working right now to fill events. I do not want you to think that you have to reinvent the wheel, because you can use what's already working in the marketplace and then make a decision about which mix of those strategies will be the right fit for you and your brand and your business. And then the question comes up of, like, how do you choose what strategies to pick? Because there are so many. I've put together a guide of 107 strategies to fill your event, and I want to make sure you've got a copy. So it'll be in the download section of this training below the video. Or if you're not in your members area listening to this, then just go to greenroomcentral.com and click the button that says 107 ways to fill my events, and grab your copy of that guide, because I want you to know that there's so many strategies available to you. And if you want to move on to thinking about, like, how do I pick? My recommendation for you would be that you pick the ones that you're actually going to implement. Yeah, there's a time and a place to lean into your fear. But if you're freaking out about writing copy and you lose weeks working yourself up to do the work, I'd rather you just hop on a video and shoot a quick message and send it out in an email with a thumbnail of the video and a link to it instead. Do you follow? Okay, awesome. Because that's what's important here, is that we're actually implementing strategies, and we're doing it consistently at very regular intervals leading up to our events. Let's get you some tangible examples, shall we? Again, I've built a whole guide on the topic. It's filled with 107 ideas for filling your event. Here's a few examples that you're going to find on that guide. Ticket pricing strategies like offering 4 tiers of pricing, and each time that a new tier becomes available, or in that tier coming up for a close, gives you an excuse to get in front of your potential guests and remind them about the opportunity that is in front of them to take your event ticket offer. That's a great strategy. The guide has email strategies in there. Perhaps you could use something like a video launch series that you send out via email with reminders. Perhaps you could use email with a banner ad, if you will, in the bottom of your weekly newsletter that invites people to learn more about the event. Social media strategies. There's so many ways to use short form video right now to promote your event. I love watching other creators put out video content about their event. It's really inspiring. Anything from testimonials from past guests to recap reels from past events, or, highlight reels, to you just direct to camera talking about what's to come, or unboxing the swag that you're going to give away, or you on camera talking about the PowerPoint that you're building and where you're at in that process. There's so many ways that you can use video right now and places to post them that and don't discount posting them in all the places, right? You can be in your Instagram stories, you can be in Reels, you can be in TikTok posting about your virtual event, all the places, and really think strategically about how could you create one short form video and post it in a bunch of places to increase the ROI of that video. There's going to be affiliate strategies in that guide for you, ad strategies. Go through it. Figure out the mix that feels right to you and your brand. But more importantly, what we talked about a little bit earlier was which ones you're actually going to take action on and do. Yeah? Do those. Put those on the calendar. So now is the time to act. Your action step for today is to complete the Training 2 worksheet. So it's available for you to download from the download section right under or next to this video if you're in your members area, or if you are listening, go over to greenroomcentral.com, click the button that says the Virtual Event Lab, and you'll get into your members area for free. It's going to help you overcome your fear of sales and marketing and fill your event. Start by downloading the digital workbook page, reading through the questions, and then I want you to spend 15 minutes brainstorming and recording your answers on that worksheet. Maybe you want to do it with your team, or perhaps assign the work to your online business manager, your integrator. I think it'd be a great task for them as a jumping off point for your virtual event. As soon as this training is over, I want you to please block time in your calendar to do this work. And if you've got time, do it right now. So let's tie this all up in a pretty little bow, shall we? So Training 2 of the Virtual Event Lab Challenge has been all about how to make it profitable. You learned how to overcome your number one competitor. What is it? Apathy. Yes, that's right. You learned how to make an event marketing plan and that you need to work at consistently, right? And you learned about strategies working right now to fill your event. And you've got your action step to complete your Training 2 page of your digital workbook. You're getting it done, one step at a time. So awesome. So I want to tell you though, I don't want you to allow your fear from stopping you from creating a marketing plan and working that plan consistently. That's what you're filling your virtual event is all about. I want you to push yourself to try multiple strategies, even if you haven't tried them before. And I don't want you to be afraid to go hard on one strategy if you see that working. I've seen webinars work so darn good to fill virtual events. If that happens to work for you, go hard on it. I say do more of what works. If you get stuck or overwhelmed, I want you to reach out to this live event leader community that you're now a part of and ask for help. There's a few ways you can do that. You can DM me on Instagram at Sarah Pfeiffer. You can join the live event leader community called Linchpin Nation. It's free. Go to greenroomcentral.com, click that Linchpin Nation community button and get on in there and ask questions. I'm in there every day answering for members of our community. Or you can, if you're in your members area, drop your question below this video. Support's available for you. Okay? And if nothing else, sleep on it. A good night's rest is always a good idea, I say. I used to run myself ragged, working until all hours of the night during event seasons and then getting up early. And I finally learned that it didn't work for me. And I put a stop to it. And after I did, it was as if the answers, they just flooded in, you know? I've seen some really cool things happen in this virtual event space over the last couple of years. And I've seen events that are brand new, like never hosted before in person and done virtually. I've seen those brand new events fill up in under a month. I've also seen event leaders work for 6 months to fill a virtual event. It's possible it really does depend on time and money, what your resources are for filling your virtual event. But know that it's possible. And it may, like one of my clients, just be calling people on the phone. That's what works for her. If that works for you, do it. If it gets derrieres and chairs, then I say, put it into practice and make it happen. Even if you're filling an event that you've never done, I want you to know it's possible for you to get it full. And I want you to know that it's possible even if you don't have a big list. It's possible even if you're filling an event you've never held before. It's possible even if you don't have a lot of time. It's possible. We need to put that frame of possibility on as the lens and how we're looking at this new opportunity in our businesses, right? Now, before we wrap up, I want to take one more moment. I want you to remind you about the tool that you have at your disposal. So download that digital workbook page for this module. It'll give you a recap of what we covered here. It'll remind you of your action step for today. It'll guide you in your brainstorming. I am so darn thrilled that you're here and that you've completed training 2 of the challenge. You're getting it done. I am cheering you on towards filling your virtual event because it's possible for you. And I look forward to seeing you in training 3. The next training is going to be all about creating actionable curriculum so that your guests walk away feeling energized, empowered, and committed to transformation. I want you to please share your comments and your questions in the chat below this video or in Linchpin Nation, or don't be shy and drop me a DM at Sarah Pfeiffer. All of those vehicles for getting your questions answered, getting unstuck, and staying in a state of momentum are there to support you. And I don't want you to forget that by asking a question, you're likely helping someone else within this live event leader community who may have that same question. You've got this. I will meet you right back here for training 3. Thank you for listening to this special Green Room Central podcast episode all about making your virtual event known. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram. And be sure to tag at Sarah Pfeiffer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. Also, I know you got one solid gold nugget of advice on filling your events from inside today's episode, but if you'd like a few more, 107 to be exact, then head over to fillingevents.com right now. I want to help you quickly master event marketing and fill your events, even if you've never done it before. I've scoured the online business world and found 107 of my favorite strategies working right now to fill your next virtual or in-person event. I want you to create the event promotion plan you need from these easy to implement customizable strategies over at fillingevents.com. In case you're curious, this podcast is built on Kajabi. I'm loving how easy it's been to get things set up, but more so, I'm thrilled that my entire business is run within one platform. From my emails to my pages to courses and now to my podcast, it's all under one roof. If you love simplicity and scalability as much as I do, then go to greenroomcentral.com to get a free 14-day trial from Kajabi. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going, keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.